Okay, it's 4 o'clock on March 15th, 2021. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Curville Economic Improvement Corporation. If you'll please bow your heads and join me in the invocation. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to do the good work of the city, and we just thank you for the incredible blessings we have to live in this community, to enjoy all the natural resources that you've given us, and to give us good projects that help improve the quality of life and provide economic benefit to our fellow citizens. We just pray for your continued guidance and wisdom as we undertake all the stuff that we consider. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
We have our visitors and citizens forum. We've got a couple of speakers, Mr. Sandy and Dr. Rector, that have requested to speak on particular items on the agenda, so I'm going to save them for those items. But Cash, is there anybody generally that would like to speak during the visitors forum?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All right, our next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the meeting held on March 1st, 2021. Those were all in your packets. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or changes anybody had? No? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And that carries unanimously. All right, Ms. Dozier, you want to give us our monthly financial report?
Yes, sir. All right, good afternoon. I feel like it hasn't been too long since I've seen you, but we'll go through a few updates on the financial report. So this is the financial report for the month ended February 28th. All right, and starting with the statement of activities, talk a little bit about the current period, that second column over, and then also year-to-date. So big news coming out of February on sales tax, $433,000 worth of sales tax, the EIC portion. And this February receipt represents sales that actually occurred in December, and then there's a 2-month lag before EIC gets their money. So this is a all-time record high for the city ever. So very big month. Looking at expenses for the month, it was basically just the normal recurring stuff as far as administrative services fees and debt service. But then there was one large project payout. So the final payment to the Thompson Drive Partners, which is the landing project, was made after they submitted all of their required documentation for their certificates of occupancy. And anyway, even after that payment, still ended in the black for the month, almost $42,000. And then you'll see that year-to-date number in the black, $506,000. Looking at the cash flow forecast, updated a couple of things on here. Next month, I'll extend this out past September 2021. But basically, the cash flow forecast just continues to look stronger each month because those sales tax revenues are coming in stronger each month. So the March 2021 sales tax revenue I updated with actual numbers that we've already received. But then the last 6 months of the year, those are our budget numbers for sales tax, but we've been exceeding budget every month. So that should be a conservative look at sales tax.
Amy, do you ever do like a rolling forecast based on what the trends have been?
Yeah, I was looking at some of that this morning, and it looks really good, and I'm very hesitant to say those
Well, we know
numbers.
you're conservative, but
Yeah.
just take a picture of what you do as a basis, your model. If you put your model in there,
Yes.
they would go up at least, what, 10 or 12%?
It's like more like 20%
excuse
better
me.
than budget.
I'm a little behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm conservative too, by the way.
One of the things I was looking at, and I mean, these numbers just look too good to be true to me, and so I really don't want to hang my hat on them. And sales tax is very volatile, as you know, and really can change month to month. But I was looking back at February historically, because February is always our largest sales tax month, and like what percentage of our total sales tax for the year February usually accounts for, and extrapolating out from there. And if that historical trend holds true, then EIC would end the year at like almost between 4.1, 4.2 million in sales tax for the year compared to the budget of 3.5. So, that's significantly higher. But sales tax can turn on a dime, and it can go the other way very quickly too. Although looks like the stimulus money that's in the economy should bode well for sales tax, but we'll see. Also, inflationary talk for sure, which would also increase our sales tax if people keep buying. But anyway, yes.
My litmus test for that is I'm at Home Depot and Lowe's a lot, and it's as busy as I've ever seen it. HEB is still busy.
Yeah, the
so
parking lot tests over there
it's
are.
just it's an easy way to judge
Very
if people are
valid.
spending money, and people are spending money in this town.
Yeah, and that, and then definitely the online benefit, that you don't even see by driving by parking lots. We're benefiting from those sales as well on the sales tax side, and certainly seeing significant increases in our online, as well as big box and specifically home improvement big box.
Well, restaurants are
continuing
gonna
strong.
start to open up, and so here we go. I mean, the forecast, it should be higher.
It is, yeah. So hopefully this, this cash flow forecast should be a conservative look because it's using budget numbers for the last 6 months of sales tax revenue. This does, on the debt service line, you'll see include the payoff of the K-Pub loan in March. So that's why you have over $1 million there for the 1 month of debt service. So that check actually went out on Friday. That payment was made. Let's see. And then as far as, the projects, one other thing I changed on the Doyle School project, I did increase the cash flows there by the additional $150,000 that was discussed last month. But I have not added any other project changes, so I haven't added anything for Christmas lights or anything like that. So this is just the Doyle School is the change there. Looking at the financial analysis, you'll see the project analysis that now that Thompson Drive project is completely paid, and then what's remaining on the other projects that we actually have signed agreements in place. And that Doyle School one, I have taken that up to $650. And that March sales tax number, even though you're not looking at March financials, I went ahead and put that in. That's our payment from the state. We'll have a little bit more added to that number when we actually file our sales tax return for the city, because we retain a portion of that, so it'll go up to a couple $1,000 more from there. But yeah, you can see that budget to actual down in the far right-hand corner. Right now, we're 21% better than budget from here. The cash has continued to be invested in the EIC tax pool account. It's up slightly, which I haven't said lately, but up to like 9.5 basis points. So still less than 0.1%, but it's up from its low of 8. So a little bit of good news there. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Well, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
We have one speaker that requested to speak, Mr. Jim Sandy. Are you listening?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Actually, I had 2 questions. The first one was I had noticed that the debt service suddenly increased by about $1 million, and it sounds like that was due to a K-Pub loan payoff. Was that loan payoff not expected to occur during this fiscal year?
You want to address that? Sure.
Yes, so the amortization schedule for that loan had a balloon payment occurring in 2024, but in the meeting that happened on March 1st, the EIC board voted to prepay that loan in full as of March 15th. And so that's what that reflects.
Okay, thank you. My second question concerns the beginning cash balance for fiscal year 2021. And actually what I did is I went and I looked at the city's fiscal year 2021 budget and looked at what it said for the EIC beginning balance. In your numbers, the EIC beginning balance is approximately $2.4 million. In the city budget, the EIC beginning balance is approximately $3.1 million. So that's about $700,000 higher. And I was wondering if you could explain why that difference is there.
I'll have to look at exactly what you're talking about. I think that what you are looking at may have the sales tax receivable balance in it as well. But I'm happy to walk you through that exactly. It's just a little hard at the podium. I'll need to see exactly what you're looking at. But
Okay, so
okay. Would you like
are we going to try to do that now? Or?
Would you like to send an email as an open records request for me to give you that reconciliation?
And just ask the question in the open records, or what?
Yes. Does that sound okay, Mike?
Or should I just send you an email and ask you the question?
I think it's better to go through city secretary's office on something like this.
It's up to you.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. You can just copy me on it, but also send it to the city secretary's office so they can record it as an open records request.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Those were the only questions I had.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sandy.
Thank you.
Would the board like me to copy you on the response or anything like that? All right.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda, item 6A, is a public hearing in consideration of a funding agreement between the City of Kerville Economic Improvement Corporation, City of Kerrville, Texas, and the Kerville Christmas Lighting Corporation for electrical infrastructure on Tranquility Island in the amount of $100,000. Copy?
As you recall from your last meeting just a couple of weeks ago, had a pretty extensive presentation from a great group of volunteers from a myriad of different organizations across Kerrville that come together to help do fundraising, to be able to essentially have a matching, or asking for a matching grant component with EIC to put in the electrical backbone essentially in Tranquility Island to enhance the Christmas lighting efforts, really holiday lighting efforts, because it's intended to be more than just at Christmas time. So I had that presentation a couple of weeks ago. Based off that feedback, we have drafted up an agreement, essentially a three-way agreement between the three parties that is before you today. I will bring your attention, there are a couple items in there, little just small typos. On page 3, within item 5 and item 6, we have tentatively posted September 1st, 2021 as that date that the contribution would be received from KCLC. We may want to think about pushing that out just a little bit further, possibly at the end of the calendar year. And then in item 6, project timeline, that lists October 1st, 2020. Again, we might want to push that one out to end of the calendar year. I'm not sure we can start last year. Other than that, it's a pretty basic agreement, structured very similarly to the way we did the Shriner River Trail, in that we've got, there's three parties involved, and essentially you've got one that's contributing financially. The city's basically doing the project management for it. As we mentioned to you last time, we've already engaged with a PSA to start doing some of the design work, so we can get our hands, really wrapped around that, so we're ready to go and bid once we've got all the fundraising done.
And EA, is it correct that the EIC will only contribute funds after the Christmas Lighting Corporation or Holiday Lighting Corporation receives their $100,000 in contributions.
Yes, that's correct. That's the way we've outlined it within this agreement. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Be happy to answer any questions, and I know we've got a great group of folks here to also talk to you if you'd like to.
All right, I'll open the public hearing at 4:15, and I know we have at least one speaker, Dr. Rector.
Thank you very much. William Rector, 705 Water Street, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. Amy Dozier has shown how important the Christmas season and December can be for the city. We're here today to ask you to fund additional lighting for Tranquility Island. We believe, as I represent the Historic Downtown Business Alliance, HDBA, that this is important to downtown. It's important to our downtown retail people, important to our restaurants and our bars downtown. When we bring people to our community, they shop, they dine, they have entertainment in downtown, and it helps our sales tax. It helps not only the sales tax, but also our merchants to stay in business. We feel like this is an opportunity to improve that, to bring more visitors to Kerrville, as well as bring residents downtown to shop. And we thank you very much for considering funding this. We believe it's going to be great for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rector.
Yes.
Do we have any other speakers?
We do. We have Rose Bradshaw.
Rose Bradshaw, Soapbox Printing, 229 Shriner Street, and an officer of the Kerr County Women's Chamber. And on behalf of the Women's Chamber, we started the Tranquility Island project back early 1990s, and then got in conjunction with the Parks Department, the Kerrville Parks Department. Mr. Kanisi was in there, and we're able to collaborate and get some beautification going on down there. And I can only express that how many times we've had people say that they've come in from other cities and other places to just walk peacefully down through our parks and look at the beautification that we've done down there for our community. Through the Lighting Corporation, we got involved with them last year because we do our decoration down on Tranquility Island itself, and I'm sure everybody's been down there to see the lights down there and the Christmas trees and everything. But I think that we can prove and very safely say that when we enhance our beautification in our parks and in our areas in downtown, it does bring in traffic. Compared to all the other cities around here that have lighting capabilities and in their parks and in their structures, Curville is there. We're in the middle of all that, and we're able to add more to it. And as the representative for the Women's Chamber, we will be adding more to our decorations. We hadn't done so because we had a few thefts and things that happened down at Tranquility Island because it's hard to see from the main road in the park. So by adding the beautification from the lights from the Parks Department, we would be able to move to a better visible space and be able to enhance it even more. And by adding more attractions to our community and to our park, and bringing in more out-of-towners to come in and more visitors that come to see their families down here to be able to visit. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Bradshaw. Thank you and the Women's Chamber for what y'all do to contribute to the community.
Thank you.
Do we have any other speakers?
We have Julie Davis.
Good afternoon. I'm Julie Davis with the Curville Convention and Visitors Bureau, 2108 Sydney Baker. And I just want to take a couple seconds to really talk about this project today and let you guys know that we fully support the idea of EIC helping with this and with the funding efforts for Tranquility Island upgrades. KCLC has proven that they're able to get public support and donations and capable of getting a project done. This past fall, they really knocked it out of the park with raising funds for the lights we got to enjoy down Sidney Baker. Electrical infrastructure on Tranquility Island is also just a huge asset for the rest of our community, not just the holiday lighting aspect. The improvements will increase tourism, obviously. We'll have more visitors coming to see lights, just like they go to other communities in the Hill Country. But they also allow for future events to be held on the island. You could have weddings, plays, concert, things of that nature. And those are a draw for our visitor and our locals. So we'd like to thank you for considering the project and supporting it. And I think it's a very considerable positive improvement to our fabulous park.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our last speaker is Brad Barnett.
Thank you for having me. Brad Barnett, Curville Area Chamber of Commerce, 1700 Sidney Baker. This is, again, a great project. So many of the other speakers have talked about, but not only bringing people in at the holiday season, but I think year-round, this can be a catalyst. And statistics show the stronger your downtown core is, the better your overall economy is. And this is a great, to me, public-private partnership. So really commend you guys for doing this, and just want to let you know that the Kerbville Area Chamber of Commerce supports this, and thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
Do we have any callers on the line? Ms. McElhannon?
No, we do not.
Thank you.
Okay, 4:21, I'll close the public hearing and ask fellow members of the committee if they've got any thoughts or comments.
I do. I just want to say I think it's a terrific project. It is community-wide, as you can see how broad the support is. And the fact that it's matching money is just a really wonderful thing, I think, for EIC to be involved with.
Anything else? All right, do we want to have any discussion, further discussion about amending the proposed agreement? Could you go back over those timelines again, EA?
As they're currently written, we've got September 1st, 2021, essentially is when the contribution, the matching contribution would need to be raised. We might provide a little bit of flexibility there. Again, strong economy, but asking is difficult right now, and so we might want to push that out to the end of the calendar year. And then the construction date, right now we have listed as October 1, 2020. You may want to just push that to March. I mean, obviously, we want to get started as quick as we can, but that's going to be fundraising driven. So
what do you propose for that? Is that the construction commencement date or construction completion?
It says construction activities will occur on or before October 1st, 2020. So just giving that bidding can't start until fundraising is completed. My recommendation would be December 31st, 2021 and March 15th, 2022.
So March 15th, 2022 for the construction date.
To begin.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Have you talked to the fundraising group about this, those dates?
I have not on the September 1st, 2021, but I don't think they'd be opposed to a few more months of time.
Be fine.
All right, I'll entertain a motion. If anybody would like to make one?
I'd be glad to make a motion that we instruct staff to enter into that funding agreement as proposed by Mr. Hoppy with the changes from the draft to fundraising to be completed on or before December 31st, 2021, and construction to commence on or before March 15th, 2022.
I'll second the motion.
All right, motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Why not?
Now it's time to get to work. All right, the next item on our agenda is the consideration and possible action of an amendment to the EIC Development Grant Agreement between James Avery Craftsman, Inc., and the City of Kerrville EIC. And Mr. Hoppy has an update on where things stand with James Avery.
So we did talk with the group last couple weeks ago in regards to the end-of-year report that we get from an employment standpoint from James Avery. And as you recall, you can see within the chart that was included within the amendment, the group really has been making steady progress since the start of that in 2017, really beating their numbers every year, 134 in 2017 as opposed to the 62 that was required, 191, versus the, basically just chipping away at what they needed to do in each year going through. Unfortunately, 2020, they did have a number of elements related to the overall economy that, they were not able to meet, the required, essentially, 306 that was there. And so based off that, what they've asked to do is to amend the contract, to extend the contract, to allow them, they do feel like there will continue to be a steady pace of employment and increased employment there at their manufacturing facility, but that they just need some more time, essentially. And so in discussing that with them, they were desirable to have an extension of the years and then maintaining that threshold of 359 for additional time, which obviously is beneficial for the community because it provides greater security of that employment center continuing to churn out, and all the additional exponential ramifications that has for those folks being in our area, spending dollars and buying groceries and fixing up homes and those types of things. So what we've got before you, Martin, if you could pull it up, we'll kind of walk through that chart. So this is essentially the amendment to that chart within section 4.6A. And as you can see, it basically just takes that previous termination point of 2021 and pushes it out to 2024, allowing them more time to reach that original agreed upon employment factor of 359. Now, I will say we had just a little bit of typographical error on this, and that was my fault. Essentially, it should list 2020 as 246, which is where they actually ended at, and then carries that out to the 359. In fact, we did actually talk with them today, and as a show of good faith, they're really feeling very confident that their number at the end of this year will actually be closer to 286. So they think they'll have about 40 new hires by the end of this calendar year, and so they're actually recommending that we push that 2021 and 2022 number to 286, with again that final high point at 359, then going into the end of 23, and carrying through that to the end of 2024, at which point the agreement would terminate. So this is what they've recommended as a sign of good faith. This is actually what we had agreed upon from a deal point standpoint in previous conversations with them. But again, they're feeling pretty confident that carrying into this year, they're feeling good wind behind their sails.
So basically, this change to this agreement is in our favor, because basically they're saying they're willing to guarantee that there'll be more jobs than what we had originally proposed in our first modification to them.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So it's good news.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hoppy, I'm trying to remember, was there also a change to the agreement that once they hit the 359, then there's no more reporting?
That's correct. So this does move this from when it was originally contemplated as a quarterly reporting structure. We have changed this to an annual reporting. The final annual report essentially would be February of 2025. So they'd be reporting at the end of the calendar year 24, and then after that point, there's no more reporting requirement.
Okay, so even if they hit 359 next year, they still have to keep reporting?
On an annual basis, yes, sir. Through the end of, or through February of 2025.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the only change in the agreement. There's no other changes that you guys talked about?
No, sir. It's just this one chart in 4.6A, and then, like I said, the shift to the annual reporting, and then the effective termination date being February of 25.
I'll move to accept this adjustment in the amendment as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? None. If you'll please vote by approval, raise your right hand. And that passes also unanimously.
Both of these items will be on the city council, or we anticipate them being on the city council agenda next Tuesday, March 23rd. And we'll have them review, and I'm sure they'll be pleased to see them and moving forward on that, as well as the Doyle agreement, which you guys agreed to last time and directed us via motion to just go ahead and amend and push that through. So all three of those will be on the council agenda next Tuesday. Other than that, I don't think we have any other items on your agenda.
Okay, any executive session items that anybody wants to address or knows of? We didn't have any on the agenda. Any items for future agendas? Any announcements? None? Okay, we are adjourned at 4:30.
Got a record?